So again, good afternoon, Leomar. And
Good afternoon po.
while waiting to your other classmate, okay, we need to start na, no? While bigay siya Okay, we will start little by little. Hopefully mahuman natin watch chapter 1, which is soil and water conservation. So as I have said last time, we will not, of course, go very details, and I will just discuss some important points, especially as an introduction on soil and water conservation. We should know first and foremost, why do we have to conserve the soil, no? And as we know in the first sentence, it's the most fundamental and basic resource we have. Without soil, can you imagine, no? Nakadungog na kaanang muroon ko na tatabian. Kita na ka tong Crust na movie. The Crust ba to? Tong
Movie po?
Crater ba to? Dili day Crust. Crater? Something.
Di ako
Kanang
sure
sa
do.
deep. Wala din mo nakita.
Philippine Deep or the Mariana Trench?
Something anak po, no? Nga ka ng basta movie na to siya, nagwapo po siya i-link, no? We'll try. But then you will realize na although siya fiction, but you will realize what's below the ground, no? Kasi napo yung mga scientists na nga drill, no, towards the ground and towards the core. The core man siguro to nga movie. Kasi 'di ba? Core mantle movie. Core Crust ba tong movie trailer? Core movie trailer. Trailer na lang. Kani 2 minutes. Kani siya. Na-watch ni mo ni?
Wala pa, Doc.
Sige, tanaw na ta ha. Just for the sake of entertainment. Charot lang. Hanap ka. Maduwag ba mo? I-share sa akong panha siya.
Di po. Narinig ko na daw.
Every 700,000 years, the world is devastated by an event of catastrophic proportions. Oceans boil. Continents freeze. Poles shift. And species are destroyed by a single mysterious force. As of today, we are 100,000 years overdue.
The core of the Earth has stopped spinning. The spinning core protects us from cosmic radiation. Without it, radiation will create superstorms. Microwaves will literally cook our planet. After that, it gets bad. So, how do we fix it? We can't. What if we could?
We're here about your legendary ship.
What would it take to get it in 3 months?
$50 billion.
You take a check? Can't wait to go to the center of the Earth, detonate 1,000 megatons of nuclear weapons, and we outrun the biggest nuclear shockwave in history.
We're going in.
This is molten iron at 9,000 degrees Fahrenheit, 2,000 miles down, 1,000 miles thick. Millions of pounds of pressure.
We've got a breach!
10 seconds!
Go to full throttle.
Do it!
Bitin kailangan ano ba trailer, kasi nga trailer, no. So
Akala ko ano, Doc?
Nakita na ka? The core.
Di pa, Doc. Akala ko yung Agartha, yung another world beneath the
napoy inana something. Napoy inana.
Naapod, Doc. Pero nakalimot ko sa movie.
Kani siya, movie clip lang ni siya. Tanaw na to ha, unsay nahitabo jud sa sa ano kasi katong nag-drill na gyud sila, no, but then in the end nakalimot na gani ko sa ending ato. The core trailer. Or sa man, sige, tanaw na to. Kaya nakalimot na po kung sa gito yung ending ato. Gani, one lang na siya. Click, which is, silang ni ka-minute. Kasi kung dagahan na po tayo, 2 minutes lang naman siya. Then, baba na sila, no?
18,000.
Yes, daw.
18,500.
They're going way too fast.
feet.
We hit the wall with rabbits on the highway.
Pressure.
What do you mean pressure? I thought you said this thing was indestructible.
I said the pressure makes us stronger, we just don't have enough of it yet.
We're at 25,000 feet. Pull out, sir. What?
We're locked in.
Go to full throttle. Stand by to engage front and lateral lasers, please. Well, we'll hit bottom in 10 seconds here. Just give it a couple more seconds. The lasers will fire.
No, there's not enough time for power up.
27,000 feet.
The lasers will deploy.
29,000 feet.
So water sila nagdaan.
Do it!
Now!
When nagsulod sila sa core, kunuhay. But of course, no, that's not possible.
And we've got a signal.
All right.
So water pala sila dumandok, no?
Ay, oo, kasi of course, below the ground is an ocean, di ba? So, and like the Mariana Trench, di ba? Na naman yun nakatugkad ba sa Mariana Trench? Di ba?
Yes,
Syempre,
Doc. Naana daw.
kasi nga, kanang, I don't know if a diver or kanang like something driller apod, kasi that's how they know kung how deep is the deepest pa dyan. But there are still deepest pa yun sa Mariana Trench. Diba? Oo. So,
Yes.
oo. So, nakalimut na ko which country, pero naa sila na-discover. And going to the core, of course, kasi ang Earth, naay siya crust, na siya mantle, and the core, katong sa sulod na dyan, which is, it is expected na kuan gid siya kanang lava, no? That's why we have volcano, no, na kung saan dito mag-exhaust ang mga lava, no? And it's from the core. So much for that. Para lang natay mo rag idea. Pero 2003 pag ito nga movie, no? But it's really nice na siya nga fiction. Maybe in the future we don't know, it would be possible one day. So for agriculturists, soil is not only a dirt, no, it's life, diba? And it's where, and as an agriculturist, we don't only consider soil as a for plants, but also for all living things, including katong mga terrestrial life or microbes, no? That's why when we speak of soil, it is life kasi andun ang nutrients, andun ang different microorganism and so on. So it's a vital source ng food, feed, fuel, and fiber. No, and it's very important consideration for food security and environmental consideration. That's why it's very important to conserve our soil. So ano ba dapat nating i-conserve, sir, sa soil? Any idea? Just any any thought?
Soil itself, the minerals and the natural things that you can see in the soil.
Yes, no, even the structure of the soil, kasi whenever it degrades, so what happens? Magkaroon tayo ng
Landslide.
erosion, no, landslide.
Mm.
So that's how important. And also conserve its fertility, as you have said, and that's very good. So, and we have here the different functions ng soils, diba? In terms of food security, without soil, wala tayong food, fiber, housing, recreation, and so on. And without soil is also the ultimate source ng water, diba? So without water, there's no life talaga. And
Groundwater.
and in terms of and these are the specific function. And in terms also of global climate change, it is where the exhaust carbon dioxide and methane and sequestrated na carbon. It's also ano? Alam ba? So it is also where nagbabase yon, no? And biofuel feedstock na nowadays importante kay sa to ang fuel, diba? And naga-fluctuate ato ang gas, naga-increase, and although ang ato ang mga gastusin naga-increase na po because of oil. And it is where actually we depend on biofuel for feedstock, for example, sa mga animals natin. And so how do we interact, no, as human beings? So we have to manage our soil properly. Una, we will meet the ever increasing food demand, filter air, purify water, store carbon, and offset or lessen anthropogenic emissions of carbon dioxide. So that's how we, from table point 1.1, that's how we manage our soil. And unlike electricity and water, soil is non-renewable resource. So pag wala niyan, and based on sa ating scale, no, pag na-degrade yan with misuse or with mismanagement, it's gone forever. So
Yes.
it's also very definite na in terms of productivity. And when we say productive lands, they are only less than 11% of the earth. But they are usually enough to supply food for how many billion na ba tayo? We are more than 6 billion people na already, no? Diba 11 naman siguro gani. And still, especially in some places where distribution of food is scarce, like in Africa, like even in mga developing countries, no, and sometimes including the Philippines, we still have areas nga, diba? I don't know if you agree with me na there is still food scarcity or lack of food or malnutrition, diba? Wherein
Yes.
yung iba, like ang ginaingon nato permente, da na imong kanon kay kanang ang ubang tao wala ginakaon. Diba?
Yes.
Oo. Kaya samantalang na-high blood na kinaon. So, yun lang. That's one of the reality. And so, to conserve soil, we have a lot of concern in terms of agronomic, environmental, and economical kanang aspects. So, definitely we should know what are these agents na makadegrade sa soil so that we will know how to manage it, di ba? Like for example, water and wind erosion, no? Um, water are the and wind are actually the main agents na makadegrade sa ating soil. And of course, we cannot control water and wind, di ba? But this affects 1,100 million hectares worldwide, which is 56% total degraded land, no? And 28% also. Bye. So, so we will start with soil erosion. The two types, we have geologic and accelerated erosion. So, anong kaibahan niyan? Based sa imuhang previous reading, Sir Leomar.
Kalimutan ko. Binasa ko lang kasi yung doc, hindi ko in-internalize.
So, andito naman sa ating sa ating copy that when we say geologic, normal process of weathering kasi normally nag-wither mo yun talaga tong soil. So, and very low rates din siya, and it's a natural lang na soil forming process. And but it takes long time. We call it long geologic time horizon. And these are not because of human activity. Yung mga, di ba usually like sa ocean, na ang kanang mga rocks tungod sa kanang waves, ma-wear out po na sila. And that is why even climate change is a natural process. But then, because of human activities, irresponsible activities, napaano siya, napadali, no? While of course, when you say accelerated, this is triggered by anthropogenic causes like deforestation, slash and burn agriculture. So when we say slash and burn agriculture, yung kaingin, you still remember? Adang kaingin, and then intensive plowing, especially sa mga hilly and sloping area, and uncontrolled grazing and biomass burning. So those are example of the causes of accelerated erosion. So therefore, how to control and manage them is very important. And these are just some of the important data in terms of soil erosion. Next is water erosion. Water erosion rather. So this is a more severe type of erosion, and it usually in the form of splashes, interior reel, gully, tunnel, stream bank, and coastal erosion. So these terms are very technical to us, diba? As an agriculturist, but it's also very important to know. And so this will be discussed one by one. So have you seen yung mga tragedy because of landslide? No? Especially
Yes,
last time, I remember katong sa Ormoc, diba? Have you heard of that? And even sa Leyte.
Yung sa Leyte lang po.
So, it happens when yung precipitation rate ng ating rain will exceed the water infiltration rate. No, like the capacity of the soil to absorb the water. Ang bilis or ang daming ulan versus the capacity of the soil to absorb them. And this impact, raindrop, and water runoff will cause the soil detachment and then transport. So, unlike sa wind erosion, ang water erosion is very dominant in form in sa mga humid, subhumid regions, and usually may mga frequent na rainstorm. So, we have the so-called gully erosion. This is also another severe soil erosion in a single event of high rainfall intensity. So this excessive gully erosion will wash out even the crabs, and ma-expose na yung plant roots ka ng mga lupat na yun siya, and will even dig lower groundwater table with adversely affecting plant growth and landscape stability. So therefore, gullying is a major source ng sediment and nutrient loss. Kaya ma-wash out na po ang mga minerals. And drastic alteration sa landscape aesthetics and mga ano. So, sedimentation is the lower end of the fields in depressional sites where they can bury crops, damage field borders, and pollute water bodies. It's just like when, ano yung mga sediments, yung mga naiwan ng mga bodies, no? So, for wind erosion naman, it's very widespread in the arid and semi-arid regions. And this is dominant geomorphic force na even will reshape the earth. Especially kung masyadong mabilis yung hangin, no? In terms of cyclones or storms, and in other countries they even have the ang sakit lang kanang cyclone, no? Cyclone ang tawag sa ila, ha?
Yes.
Oo. Kanang mag-spin na talaga and parang masuyop ang mga even houses. So the precision ng mga material is called lowest, and which will develop into fertile and deep soil. So usually 20 and 30 meters. Like for example, the lowest plateau in China. So it has a 335 meter thick na and na mga deposition, and it's because of wind erosion. And excessive naman wind erosion is also due to mismanagement. Do you believe that? Na tayo pa din naman ang tayo na naman ang may
kasalanan.
May kasalanan, pati wind, pati bagyo.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Because of our mismanagement. And how does it happen? Do you have any idea?
Cutting of trees is one thing. Then mountain po, yung ang tawag yan, gina-flatten nila yung mountains and such.
Kasi wala na tayong parang
natural defense.
Oo, mag-breaker sa wind like the mountain forest, no? They help in breaking the wind or strong wind. And also like for example, it is also a water cycle function, no? And I don't know if you have heard of that. Ngano daw ang Mindanao or ang Philippines is a typhoon area. Ay, dati ang Mindanao is not. It's the Visayas region. Diba? And it's because if we try to look on the globe, we are on the north of the equator. Diba? We're not on the south. We are above the equator. And most of the wind flows above the equator will come back as storm na in the middle of the equator. So that's the very reason why we always receive a lot of typhoons in the Philippines. But favorably in Mindanao, not so much. No? Only in the Luzon part. And it's also because of anthropogenic activities influencing the soil for surface condition and deforestation and tillage then. So we still have 10 minutes na anyway. So this is just about the history of soil erosion. So far naman, by history, it's also very connected to the carbon dating or the age of Earth, diba? So if we try to follow our calendar, our Roman calendar, we follow the Roman calendar, which is after Christ naman siguro na siya. So we are 2022 years old na, 'di ba? But before Christ, it's beyond ano pa, 10,000, 20,000, 'di ba? Ganun ka old. And in terms of soil erosion, it is as old as, Earth, of course. And it always happens in Saudi Arabia, no, wherein they even have the so-called sand dunes, no? Na nakatry na kaana, of course. Hopefully we will not kasi wala. But someday sana makapunta tayo ng Saudi Arabia but not experience sand dunes, no, kasi
Catastrophic. Good luck.
Gani. Kanang nasa movie gani, magtanaw pa lang kadaan, marag, oh my God. Ana, no? So, as been mentioned here, accelerated erosion is as old as agriculture, which are going back to old civilization in Mesopotamia. And when we say Mesopotamia, it's the very old countries of Iran, Iraq, no, Greece, Rome, and other
Egypt.
regions. Yeah, Egypt in Middle East. Like example, no, yung Tigris, Euphrates rivers. And we even have it has been even cited and discussed in mga books, no, like Hammond Bennett, huge Hammond Bennett as the father of soil conservation in US. And that has been mentioned since 2004 already. So what are the consequences of soil erosion? It's very clear naman, no? It will have adverse effects sa ating tanim, agronomic, ecologic, environmental, and economic. That's very clear. And for example, on-site problems is reduction of topsoil thickness, structural degradation, soil compaction, nutrient depletion, loss of soil organic matter, poor seedling emergence, and reduced crop yields. Those are very important effect of erosion. And also mga even pollutants. So, offsite problems, like for example, removing soil layers where most agricultural chemicals, including pesticides, are concentrated. So, they are considered offsite transport of sediment and chemicals. So, imbis na dili siya maadto sa imong place, gikan siya sa ubang place, maadto sa imuha. And we also have sediment and chemical pollution, sedimentation. Like I have mentioned earlier, sedimentation is like sa imo na mapundutan ng parang body parts or kanang mga sagbot tanan, the silting of water resources, so much so transport offsite, landscape characteristics, and of course, therefore reducing wildlife habitat and causes economic loss and even decreases livestock production through the reduction ng animal weight and forage production kasi wala na silang makain, and water reservoir damage, and so on. So madami, no? Madaming involved, madaming affected, no? Including buildings, houses, garden, water reservoir, deposit, rivers, lakes, and wells. So have you seen na for a while a very clean well kanang balon?
Wala na, Doc.
Wala na din na uso karon, no?
Yes.
This time. So that's so sad. So
Maski ang bomba, Doc, dili na kuan, dili na limpyo.
As in, drilling man unta na siya.
Sayang.
And so those are all very affected. So these are just some of the erosion-induced soil degradation process in terms of physical processes, chemical, biological, So when we say physical processes, there's an increase in surface sealing, crusting, compaction, deflocation, and sand content. And it will decrease topsoil depth, soil structure, stability, macro porosity, and plant available water capacity and water infiltration. So when we say chemical processes naman, like acidification, salinization, sodification, water pollution, and cation, and so on. In biological naman, sa mga microbes naman. And eutrophication, yung mamamatay yung isda because of lack of oxygen and algal blooms. So those are very important realities. So we also have the so-called drivers of solution, soil erosion pala. And these are involving deforestation, overgrazing, intensive cultivation, soil mismanagement, cultivation of steep slopes, urbanization. This all accelerates soil erosion. And how? Since we have limited time na, we have less than 2 minutes na lang, so we will just discuss this one next meeting. No, each one by one. Kasi medyo mahaba-haba man din siya, no? We still have mga another 8, no? Another 9 slides. So, do you have any question or clarification before we end or ma-finish na kato ang 2 minutes? Hala, naka-turn off ka, naka-off mic ka.
Ay, sorry. Salinization, basta ka na, Doc. Kanang converting of water to potable water, Doc.
Ang alin? Wala,
Yung
sorry.
salinization.
Salinization is
Diba,
parang,
that's converting the salt water into potable water, Doc. Tama ba ko?
dili. Desalinization siguro. And salinization is
the other
is kanang mahimo siyang saline kay tungod sa mga mineral deposit magtaas sa iyang salt
acidity.
Dili pud acidity, salt content.
Salt content.
So, some more insight. So, thank you, Sir Leomar, for joining. And 40 minutes lang man atong session. And the next session, we will have MWF, no?
Yes,
So, once a week lang man tamag, as we agreed, once a week lang yun tamag, meeting. Kasi limited lang po na to we will only have 10 meetings. Diba? So, relax at pakadali. And then, if hapit na mag-end ang months, because we only have 2 months, diba? Diha na ta magpaspas.
Sige daw.
Cramming na ta. So, relax at pakadali. So, thank you. And,
thank you daw.
Yeah, and hopefully, we have learned, we have pareho day ko. So, thank you. And hopefully, yung isang classmate mo pa will come in next time. Okay, so bye-bye.
Thank you, Doc. Bye pa.
See you again next week.
See you pa, Doc. Bye pa.